See uniformed crew members located on each deck. Thank you for riding the Staten Island Ferry. board the ferry into